I suppose first rule of Fight Club Orgy, don't talk about Fight Club Orgy.
Yeah.
You're literally breaking the first rule. Hello, I'm Ben, and welcome to Quarterlife Quandary, the podcast about chatting of topics of life, friends, family, relationships, current events, past experience, and anything between them in the Quarterlife Quandary. Here with Kate and Aaron. Hello, guys. Yeah, should have put an apostrophe in that somewhere.
Who needs apostrophes?
Punk.
No one needs them. So, I've asked you two to come with some topics. So, do you want me to go first, or do you guys want to? Okay, so I wanted to raise the shopping cart theory issue. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes, I love it.
All right. I'll give it a bit of an explanation. Basically, what it's about is a test of, or it shows how good a person is, because if you take a shopping trolley back to its bay, you get no reward for doing so, and there's no comeuppance for not doing it. So technically, you don't have to do it, and no one's forcing you to do it. It just shows whether you're a good person or not, or whether you morally aren't a piece of shit. Basically, just to dump it next to your car.
I think it's also
bastard is what you are.
I think it's also interesting to think of how we sort of just got socialized into doing it anyway. There's no reason to take it back. Why did we all just start doing it? Is it just muscle memory, or is it actually a reflection of how good you are as a person?
No, I think it was imprinted by your parents. And your parents before them.
Mine didn't give a shit. Why do I do it?
It's been handed down through the generations until somebody breaks the mold. Yeah, there we go. Done.
The chain. I can tell you why our local one it happens, because they used to charge £1 for a trolley, didn't they? And then when I was in 11 or 12, I used to spend half a Saturday morning sitting at Asda waiting for people to leave their trolleys so I can run over, put it away and get £1. I used to make 20-30 quid
solid hustle.
Saturday morning doing that.
That is a solid hustle. I just used to play with the cats that used to loiter outside. We had different childhoods.
I mean, do you reckon sort of like the big chains, they sort of go, right, okay, we're going to put these mechanisms on here. You know, we're going to get people putting the trolleys back. So we don't have to keep on employing a trolley boy. And, after a certain amount of time, do you reckon they've gone, okay, that we've trained them. It's been about 5 years, but I think we've cracked the people, and they should know to put the trolleys back now. And they, the rental company, they probably got the mechanisms from. They've sort of gone, we don't need your business anymore. And they've gone, you'll be back. You'll be back. And
I mean,
it all just goes wrong.
Judging by the fact that the ones around here have wheel clamps on them, if you take them over a certain threshold, I doubt that's the case.
Technology has come along. That might be the reason why they've sort of going to have, as long as they stay within the car park boundaries, screw it.
If they don't trust us not to steal them and take them home as some kind of ornament, they're not going to trust us to put them back.
There's a lot you can do with a shopping trolley.
We turned ours
cages.
We turned ours into a swing.
I don't know.
When we were kids, over a big hole in the woods.
I mean, there was always at least one sort of person up and down your road that you knew had a shopping trolley that was sat down by their front door or just down their side alley. It was just like,
what was it for?
It's for people who didn't have a car and they used to just take the trolley home with them.
Walking along a main road with a trolley full of shopping, I don't think I'd have the balls. Bring a suitcase.
If I didn't drive, I'd do the same thing.
A suitcase.
Bring a suitcase.
What?
Yeah, because you can't get one of those granny trolleys because you'll get more made fun of than having a trolley. Just get a suitcase.
Where have you been, mate? You just come back off holiday? Nah, mate. I've just been to the shops.
I've brought a trolley shopping before when I had to get the bus. Not a trolley, a suitcase.
You've taken a suitcase
I had to get some very heavy items, Ben.
See, I would just like to point out that, you have said, that there are certain reasons why you're single. This is one of those reasons.
I didn't expect to be attacked this early in the podcast, but here we are.
It's chaotic, lawful, and I'm all about it. It's just, I'm just. What else could you take?
Suitcase?
Is this?
Oh,
yeah, is this going to spark something else randomly?
Skip bags, or the big.
There's a very fine line between a skip bag and an IKEA bag.
Those 1 ton Gibson Dandy sort of sandbags that they get delivered off the back of like a crane back.
You can get one of those big sort of like camping trolleys with the big like durable wheels and just cart that through instead.
I mean, what would be like the chaotic bag? Would it be like, I don't know, a bin bag?
A suitcase, we've determined, which I think is completely normal.
No, the chaotic bad.
Oh, chaotic bad.
I'll tell you what it'd be. It'd be one of those like recycling bags that they drop off like once a month to your front door.
Nah, wheelie bin. Wheelie bin. Absolutely a wheelie bin.
100% wheelie bin.
Neutral would definitely have to be a bag for life from another supermarket.
No, I do that all the time. How are you?
I do that all the
time in your life that you match up the bags for life to which supermarket you're going to?
I mean,
I don't want to offend Sainsbury's with a Tesco bag.
Whoa, Mr. JJ Sainsbury. I'm sure he'd be rolling in his grave if he saw, I don't know, a Waitrose carrier bag coming into his shops.
Bringing a Waitrose bag to like Lidl is one of the weirdest flexes. Though. Who are you trying to convince?
Oh my god!
We're talking about
what have we become
on a Sunday night? Oh, I have nothing.
I mean, it always goes back to chaotic evil.
It just always degenerates into some kind of nonsense. But it was a good topic. We shat on it. We shat on the topic.
What? I was just gonna say what other ways show that someone is an absolute cunt?
Having like 20 minutes in a Starbucks queue to work out what you want, and then still waiting at the front counter to order because you don't know what you want.
The thing is, you feel pressure. See, this sort of leads on to my next sort of one when I hate scumbags in retail. Who, when you're at the front of a queue, and I always feel pressured either at a petrol station or probably the worst one as well is Primark. You get to the till, you pay for your stuff, you don't even have a chance to sort of, get yourself together, put your cards back in your wallet or your purse or what have you, and they've already pressed that button that says, next customer to cashier number 5, please. Yeah. And you're just sort of like, cheers, mate. I've now got Doris, with her 3 bags of shopping and her 2 kids, like literally at my heels, waiting for me to get the hell out of the way, and they're just looking at me awkwardly, and I'm just like, give me a second, I'm just putting my goddamn loyalty card back in my goddamn wallet.
That's like the
where they
Audi
just
and
launch
Lidl
things at you down the conveyor belt.
They just launch it.
Oh, you want time to pack your things?
Yeah.
Too bad.
You've got to put it back in the trolley and go over to the corner and then rebag everything. I'm just like, just slow down for a minute, mate. You're not getting paid enough to be swinging fucking Rice Krispies
targets that if they don't scan everything within like a second, they get put back to slave labor or something. Like they've got like ridiculous targets to hit that if they don't meet, they get like whipped.
I would like to point out a massive disclaimer right now that Aldi, Lidl, we do not believe that you incorporate slave labor into your working day or any kind of.
We're not BBC. We can say whatever the fuck we like. We live in.
They get whipped.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Start paying people proper wages. Just stop slinging my fucking Rice Krispies down the conveyor belt.
Really, they're fortified rice pops or something.
Give a fuck what it is.
Rice crackles.
Something like that, yeah.
No, I don't have the pressure. If someone...
Absolutely.
I always get concerned that if I get rushed away from my transaction, I will spill all my shit on the floor and make it worse. Like, I would just empty all of the loose change by mistake on the floor and have to crouch down in front of like 20 people in Primark watching me. And it would just make everything worse. Just give me 30 seconds to live and breathe before the next person comes up.
I mean, I know.
I just bag it there and then. I just think, fuck them. I'll just do it. And they're like, no, you can do it over there. I'm like, I'm done. And, what was the deal? Took you fucking 10 seconds more before I put my card in. Just look at you, piece of shit.
This whole podcast is just going to be,
The anger levels are already starting to rise.
We get mad at Audi, for fuck's sake. Like, are these real problems? Are these real problems?
I'm mad at everyone. I'm mad at everyone and everything. I'm literally hit middle age before.
Yeah, I'm 27 and feeling it.
I mean, I'm 29 and a half, so...
You still count the half years? Oh.
I mean, yeah, of course. I'm trying as best as I can to refrain from...
Why would you add the half when you could just say 29 and bask in that for a little longer?
29.
I mean, shut up. That's why.
You're alerting the world to the fact that you're nearly 30. Keep it a secret. Yeah. Have some pride.
You can just write off the last year and just keep being 29 next year.
We each of us know quite a few people that have got this Peter Pan complex of just going, it's my 21st birthday for the...
it's the 5th anniversary of my 21st birthday. Ha ha ha.
It's like...
Fuck off, you're 26. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop that. It's like saying, my 47-month-old child. No. It's not a thing.
Sir, they're 5. Okay.
There's another thing that pisses me off about people is, do you ever, when you're talking to someone on the phone, and as you say bye, and that other person who's speaking to just goes bye 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 bye, and then hangs up the phone.
I feel
always look at the last word. It's such a little thing, and I have no idea why it pisses me off so much. I want to
get off the phone as soon as possible in every single situation that I'm in life, so I just hang up. I don't care if I've spoken last or not. I just leave. Like, text me. I mean, don't ring me. Text me, so I can ignore it.
Before we started this podcast,
you heard it here.
We were obviously just doing a quick test run, and Ben decided to just go. Fuck you guys, and just left the group call without even saying goodbye. We're like, okay,
let's do this.
Right.
It was very abrupt. We spent a good few minutes laughing at you while you were gone because it was great.
I'm just worried that if I don't keep poking you two, that we're never going to get anywhere. Of? Well,
for once in my life,
technically
I've
not you.
Whoa, excuse me. I was the first to drop the message in saying, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock.
Except the fact that you weren't ready when you sent that
where
message.
Were you the last 2 times?
You sent us a message questioning our whereabouts while also not being ready.
I mean, I was in the room. I was
you
raring
weren't.
to go.
You sounded like you were on Mars on the call.
Okay, fair enough. The phone was in the front room, and I was currently in the bedroom.
The last 2 times we've tried to do this, you've been in a bath putting bubbles on your face.
Hey, okay. How I spend my Sunday evenings is not being brought into question here, okay, guys?
It absolutely is. It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday night.
I'm not in control of my life, okay?
I've lost all grip on reality. I feel like what you guys want to talk about is very, very nice and straightforward, and I'm just like looking into stupid worldly topics that are just far too long to care about.
No. I'm all into that kind of thing, but I didn't want to jump straight into a deep end with being technically having no research in front of me. I'm trying to do it all from memory.
I am always in the deep end. I have been looking into nuclear semiotics, which is just a clusterfuck of how do we not kill people in 10,000 years. So obviously we bury nuclear waste, and there's a debate amongst experts on the length of storage for nuclear waste before it's safe to be around or dig up. and it's generally between 10 and 30,000 years, but most of the stuff I've looked at is sort of centered around 10,000 years. Burying radioactive waste underground isn't really a problem. We've done it loads, and like heavy research, rigorous testing, safety features have all been put into place so that no natural factor will let any radiation leak to the surface, but it doesn't account for human interference, and human interference isn't easy to monitor by the people that buried the stuff once they're long dead and buried. So they've put in, like, loads of different people have put in all this research on how to stop people digging up radioactive waste and killing themselves, and they basically come up short every single time and have no idea how to alert future civilizations.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because they still don't know what hieroglyphs mean from 2,000 years ago. They've got the Rosetta Stone, but they've started to think that hieroglyphs aren't just symbols that mean words. They're like, they meet a hieroglyph is like a sound that you make. So, you know, we've got multiple words that mean different things as well. So it's
weird that you should mention the Rosetta Stone.
And
it's weird that you should mention the Rosetta Stone, because like the best thing that they've sort of come up with to translate what they want to translate is like the Rosetta Stone 2.0. So there is a Rosetta project that's attempting to continue the legacy of the famous Rosetta Stone, because obviously it was engraved with the same message about King Ptolemy in hieroglyphics, in Demotic and ancient Greek. And until its discovery, scholars had literally no idea how to read hieroglyphics. So they're planning on continuing it on with like 600 languages to be able to convey the messages that they're trying to convey in the future. But that's the best sort of shot they've got at it, because there is, like, human nature. People love excavating things that ancient civilizations have kept buried for centuries. Like, loads of necropoly and graves have been disgraced throughout excavation, sometimes for treasure, just sometimes for bants, and we can't help ourselves. So they've come up with a couple of things. It's the Human Interface Task Force have tried to come up with basically just the simple task of warn people of the future, don't dig here. If you dig here, you'll kill many people and things along with you. Heavily paraphrased. That's not a direct quote. But a couple of things they've tried is signs. But the problems they've come into with signs, is that they fade over time and would need regular maintenance, and that could just maybe not be a thing in 10,000 years. So they sort of went down the road of carving things, and it's called the Sandia Report, and they wanted to convey a series of messages, some of which have just not translated well from when this report was first made. They're things like, this is a message and part of a system of messages, pay attention to it. And things like, we were a powerful culture, this is not a place of honor, and all these really doomsday kind of phrases. But the issue is, even if we translated it into every current spoken language, which would mean a lot of people can understand it, language isn't permanent. Who knows how language will have evolved in 10,000 years. Like, the oldest language that's still used today is Tamil, and it's only 5,000 years old, I think it was, which is just half of the minimum isolation goal of nuclear waste. So it's massively unlikely that language is going to be able to be depicted. And what you said about hieroglyphics, they've tried to do pictures as well. But like, if you look at any ancient artwork, some of the oldest ancient artwork, if you were to just look at it without it being very, very closely explained to you, you'd have no idea what it meant.
100%. I mean, I still look at road signs now when I'm driving. I have no idea what the sign means.
That's not good.
That's bad.
So they tried to just do sort of basic stuff like, this is a skull. A skull is bad. It is the remains of a dead person. You will die. And it's not guaranteed to send the idea of death. Early depictions of a skull and crossbones symbolized rebirth. There's a picture called The Crucifixion by some Italian guy. I think it's Fray Angelico, but that might not be the pronunciation. It symbolized rebirth. It didn't symbolize death at all. Pictures,
pirates,
like the Jolly Roger replaced the bones of the skull and crossbones to two swords. And obviously the name doesn't really convey sadness.
No. So there's fucking treasure buried here, son.
It's not permanent. Like, that can change as well. But my favorite my favourite idea of how to stop people digging up nuclear waste and killing themselves is the cat theory. So in 1984, there was a French author, Francois Bastide. They suggested that cats are everywhere in history. Like, they're so ingrained in human culture, like the ancient Egyptians, all that shit. So she thinks that cats are going to be around forever. So she got together with an Italian semiologist, and they came up with what they called the ray cat solution, which is basically engineer cats that change colour in response to radiation, and then create a culture or a legend or like historical background that if your cat changes colour, you should move somewhere else. And it's amazing. They're literally trying to make up sort of like almost a religion or a myth or an urban legend that if your cat changes colour, it's not safe and you should go. And then trying to carry that on through the ages.
I'm not going to lie. If I had the opportunity to buy a glow-in-the-dark cat, I totally would.
Like, if your cat changes colour, what if it doesn't get received well? What if history doesn't go, oh no, rainbow cat is bad. Rainbow cat means bad things. You'd just be like, shit, if I stay here, my cat goes pink. I love it here. Let's stay here. It's honestly, they sell merch. Like a terrible idea. They're still looking into it now, and they sell merch.
They sell merch.
That's 100% the driver of her is how can I sell shit
this
to
was
people?
In the 80s, and a group of people just picked it up and gone, let's sell radioactive cat merch.
I would do the same.
The more cool dystopian thing that they've done was not dissimilar to anti-homeless spikes. So the HITF, which are the organisation that have been tasked with saving humanity 10,000 years from now, suggested this spiky architecture to discourage explorers from entering the nuclear deposit and incite feelings of unease within anyone that was there. So they had the ideas of big granite spikes and huge concrete blocks that form narrow streets leading to nowhere, and fields of razor blades that make screeching noises in the wind. And I'm pretty sure that historically using art or erecting monuments around locations only provide a further reason to explore it. Humans love a challenge.
100%. They'll be like, this must be the greatest achievement. We want to explore it. This must be a monument to the warriors. Every single
thing that they've come up with to try and stop people digging up radioactivity has basically just turned into humans just want to die for fun. And it's so fun. Human nature's useless. It's a miracle that we've lived this long. But yeah, that's my rabbit hole.
I mean, Ben had the moral obligation of whether or not you should put your shopping trolley back. And you went straight on to
yeah. Go hard or go home. This I love rabbit holes. I love nothing more than a good rabbit hole. If I can waste 5 hours of my life researching something that literally means nothing to anyone, then I will do it, and I must do it.
I don't think it's a waste. I'm always going down random rabbit holes, learning random shit. Honestly,
if I was the type of person that believed in conspiracy theories, I would never leave the house.
Thing is, I've already gone down that rabbit hole that you've been speaking of, because I've seen all the signs that they've done and how they're trying to. The other thing they were trying to think of was they're trying to see it as if an alien comes to Earth and digs it up, rather than trying to think of future cultures, because it's a lot easier to think, well, they know nothing about us. Because they keep trying to use the nuclear sign, don't they? The European standard one.
No, I saw a picture that had that, because they basically just went, let's just slap radioactivity on everything and hope for the best. But there's a picture, it's a comic with 4 panels, and it just depicts someone digging a hole and these radiation symbols coming up from the ground. And the last frame is just the guy falling over when the radioactivity symbols get to the top. And it just looks like a swarm of butterflies came up from the ground and this man just passed out with excitement. It is not easy to convey if you have no idea what that symbol means. There are people currently living that don't know what that symbol means. I have no hope for people in 10,000 years knowing what it means. They did think of sending messages akin to this, don't come here, this isn't a place of honor, into space. So there was a permanent record out there that Earth was full of radioactive shit. Literally, the
Don't
phrasing
come
they
here.
use is, "This is not a place of honor." Yeah, it's a really weird study,
Wow.
and if it was my job, I'd just be continuously angry because there's no way to fix it.
But it's a hard one because
It
nuclear
is.
power is one of the cleaner energies,
It
as
absolutely
long as
is.
it's done correctly, which then falls back into humans not knowing how to look at the
Humans are
long-term
very
issues
short-sighted. They hear nuclear energy and just
anything.
assume it's the big bad evil.
Yeah, but then also the design side of it. You've only got to look at like Fukushima. With they knew they were in like high coastal wave areas, and the tsunamis. That's a tsunami area, and yet they didn't fortify any of it. They just had like a seawall that we'd have down the local coast. It's just boggles your mind. And then when things go wrong, they go, "Oh yeah, maybe we should have thought about that." But they already knew.
No, nuclear, like the amount of waste generated by nuclear power is tiny relative to other thermal electricity generation technologies. Like, I think people get really scared by nuclear energy because they've been taught to be scared of it.
I mean, rightly so. You've only got to look at the mistakes in the past, but again, the majority of that has been human error.
Oh, like human error
design.
was absolutely the cause of, say, like Chernobyl. If you're looking at that, they were using really young, really undertrained members of staff, and when something went wrong, the higher powers weren't listening to them. Like, that was massively human error. Like, if done correctly, nuclear energy is surprisingly not bad.
The biggest problem is when you're looking at risk is you can't move away from human error. So you have to put systems in that can cope with human error. And that's the hardest part of design. I was also, did you ever hear about the was it Free Islands or 3 Mile? Their radioactive issue that they had in the 80s. They're one of the pumps to the thermal cooling system failed, stuck in one of the pipes, and when they eventually they figured out it was the filter that was put in there to stop things clogging up the pipes had come loose and blocked it, which is ironic, as it was like in its safety feature. But the other thing that they really struggled with was the display that told them everything was wrong. So they were having they had red lights that said the pumps was on, and they had green lights that said other equipment was on. So all the colours were different on each LEDs, but then the switches and levers that controlled these pumps would be the other side of the room. So nothing was correlated into an area. So, and then they were saying no wonder the engineers couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on, because every 5 minutes a buzzer was going off about something that didn't even matter at the time.
It's funny
no way
that
of turning
you
it off.
Talk about the irony of that happening, when the irony of Chernobyl is astounding, that all of it happened due to a safety check. They were doing a safety check and fought a deadline that shouldn't have been when it was to hit targets. So the safety check ended up in a massive disaster. I really want to do a full lengthy discussion about Chernobyl, because I love it. That sounds really fucking terrible, actually, but it's just so interesting to me. It's fascinating, Chernobyl.
Anyway, you talking about trying to hit deadlines, that's one of the major things that fuck people up as well, trying to hit a deadline, people cutting corners to hit it, and all signs of safety go out the window when there's a time limit introduced.
Absolutely.
It was very, very bad.
That's your input.
That's my input. I've
bad.
lost the flow of the whole conversation, to be honest with you.
Well, it's good to know that, in the words of Aaron, Chernobyl was bad.
No.
That is all.
Quote it word for word. It was very, very bad.
Really bad. What's your thoughts on the safety side of it, where to hit a deadline, would you sacrifice the safety? Say you've got a deadline in your job and you've got to hit it.
Let's not lie. We've all
to get the job done.
We've all done a little bit of naughty here and there. So, but then again, I think it might be a good idea to maybe not sidestep them when it comes to nuclear radiation. Yeah, probably not a good idea.
But would you, in your job,
they weren't sidestepping anything?
All the time.
It wasn't anything to do with what they did. It was to do with the metal, wasn't it? The subpar radiation, wasn't it? They were getting.
No, they were.
Yeah, I thought it was to do with the radiation.
Yeah,
they were trying to do a safety
too
test.
quickly or too slowly. I'm not 100% versed in it. right here, right now. But they tried to rapidly cool it or rapidly heat it and had to like force it past what it could do.
But wasn't it as well because of the design of the reactor and the material they were using? Didn't they then discover that they can add something in on the end, like a...
It was a certain coating on the end
titanium
of the pins,
or
on the end of the rods. But it was a mixture of human error, terrible management, and something to do with the coating.
To be honest with you,
what's grinding your gears, Aaron?
Waiting and raring for the world to go back to normal. I suppose our
is it going to be a normal?
Is definitely going to be changed around quite a bit. But I think what is the one thing that we're each waiting for to come back is probably a good topic.
I don't think I can say that in a public forum.
Socializing.
Yeah, that one. Socializing.
Katie's waiting for the orgies to crack open again.
That may or may not be correct. I'm not at liberty
it's
to
definitely
discuss
the orgies.
It's
Don't talk
Fight
about
Club
Fight
orgies.
Club orgies.
The first two rules.
Don't talk about it, Ben.
What was that?
The rules are very clear.
I'm not a part of your Fight Club orgies. I can talk whatever I want to.
I'm questioning it, but I am not going to say what is on my mind when it comes to Fight Club orgies.
Why is something on your mind when we're talking about Fight Club orgies?
I've got questions, but I don't think they would be the right or politically correct questions.
This is literally the place to be asking them questions.
Beat each other up until you go, all right, okay, you can fuck me, or is it so much that you just I don't know. Is it man on man? Is it intergender? Is it? There's so many questions. So many questions.
Whatever floats your boat. Let's just go with.
I mean, because there's obviously got to be a mix of fucking and fighting. So, what is the case?
That sounds like a standard relationship.
Yeah, but it's all melded into what 1 hour and a half sort of session.
It just sounds like a 10 years of an extremely boring heterosexual marriage.
What, crushed into 1 hour and a half session?
Yeah, 50% fighting, 50%. Well, I wouldn't say 50% having sex, but
why can't it be Street Fighter and then shagging?
Yeah,
that's literally the same thing.
I like that version. Wait, as in like playing Street Fighter, or because I'm thinking of an underground sex arcade now.
Yeah, that could work. You know, you could. There's two demographics you're appealing to there.
Nerds would be so happy.
Because nobody wants to clean up a cummy Star Wars pinball machine.
I asked you to leave out my cummy Star Wars pinball machine, Ben, out of topics of conversation, but you seem to have broken that taboo.
I wouldn't call it a taboo. Wait, would I?
It was a taboo to me. Okay,
I wouldn't call it a taboo.
That's weird to say. Taboo to me.
Taboo to me to be taboo.
What? What was that second bit there?
I mean, what? Coming on your own Star Wars pinball machine.
High score.
Whatever makes you happy, Aaron.
This degenerates.
With the cum or with the game?
For interpretation. Let's just say it all ended.
We're definitely not putting your picture out on this podcast. That's for sure.
What were we supposed to even be talking about in this podcast? Because this is
anything.
This is getting
absolutely
spicy.
Anything. Well, that's why it's towards the latter side of the podcast. We started with the moral obligations.
The absolute
real filth at the end. What are you?
I mean,
you're looking forward to, Aaron,
amongst my peers and my friends that I can't wait for the candle shop to reopen. I love a good Yankee.
Oh, you're such a candle.
I mean, I prefer the term snob, but you know.
Are you serious?
He needs to sniff all of them. He needs the experience.
You know, that's
Yankee candle shopping for Aaron is not about coming home with a candle.
It's kind of like ordering, you know, like I don't know, a wife online. You know, you look at the picture and go, "Oh, that looks all right," and then when it turns up, it just looks like I don't know, a sack of shit, or smells like a sack of shit.
You could have said a wedding dress. You really could have gone for wedding dress, but no, you went for mail order brides. That's where you went with that.
It could. Hey, look! I'm being open. It could be a mail order groom for all you know. Okay.
You said wife.
How many mail?
You're living in the past.
I mean, you said wife.
Damn it!
You did say was.
God damn it.
From what I've learned while candle shopping with Aaron, because believe me, it's an event. It is not about coming home with a candle for Aaron. It is about going into the shop, smelling everything, criticizing everything, thinking about buying something new just to get himself out there a bit, and then buying his favorite candle as always.
I mean,
the same one every time. What's it called, Aaron? It's that blue one, right?
Midsummer's Night.
Yep. Every time. Same
and they
candle.
brought out different variations of the same candle as well. So
he really could buy it online, but no, he has to experience it. He needs to walk away with that
it
little
might
Yankee
be Dreamy
candle
Summer's Night. It might be Midsummer's Night. And, I occasionally...
It's always Midsummer's. Don't kid yourself. You tried and you didn't like it as much. You're like, this one's similar to this one, but no, I think I'm just going to stick with this
old
one.
regular.
You're such a cannibal. You would sell your left nut for a lifetime supply of those candles.
Ooh.
You would, in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I'd put money on it.
To be fair, the amount of candles I go through, I would be the one that's laughing.
You're not even using the left one.
That's a good point.
Probably. I mean, we know people that function perfectly fine with
that is correct.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, you do as well, Ben.
We commonly know some of anyone.
You do. Do you remember that festival we worked that time?
Oh.
One working bollock.
I don't know whether it's been scientifically proven, but I mean...
Who would study his left ball?
I mean, there's certain people that have probably, used it as a jawbreaker at some point, but...
Oh, the vivid imagery that came along with that sentence, Aaron, was not fair to put on me. I'm going to bring up my roast. I didn't even like it.
You didn't have a roast today.
I had some of it, didn't I? Because I don't even like it, and I still ate it because I have no self-control.
Would you not like a roast?
No, roast. No, you only like roast because you're meant to.
See, this is where we vary. Me and Ben appreciate a good roast because we don't have.
I can appreciate.
We don't have them on tap every Sunday.
Nor do I.
I mean,
what do you not like about it?
What do you like about it? Because I just think it's not something I would pick. I don't know why.
Roast potato, cheese, all the veg, swimming in gravy.
I don't know why
just
the UK
real nice
gets a
bit
massive
of beef.
hard on collectively for a roast dinner. It is the most boring thing I've ever put in my mouth.
I'm going to say it now.
Don't give me shit for that.
I feel slightly triggered, but yeah. Oh.
I like the Yorkshires. I like the roast potatoes, and I like the meat if it's done right. But why would you boil the ever-loving crap out of vegetables and slather gravy on them?
No.
I know, but I didn't
have
good roasts as a kid. It was all just... I had an Irish roast, didn't I? Everything boiled to the level of anemia.
Was it just...
I mean, that's...
All the veg was anemic.
That sounds more like a problem, not a general roast problem.
To be fair, the roast potatoes are cooked in like goose.
That's how you get them extra crispy.
Yeah. The roast potatoes are a good time, but growing up in an Irish household ruined vegetables for me. It's just bland, tasteless mush. But it does taste like something. It all tastes like cabbage water.
It doesn't
that's what I mean.
It doesn't have to be.
You can eat anything you want on a Sunday night. Why would you pick a roast? You could have pizza if you wanted to.
I mean, I had Domino's earlier.
I had
Exactly. Like you want to defend roast dinners so hard, and you had pizza for your
because
Sunday
dinner. I didn't have that roast option.
You traitor. Yes, you did. I have known you to get takeaway roasts during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh no, but they're shit. They're shit.
Oh,
you can't take away a roast. You can't take away a fry up. It just doesn't work.
Do you know what? I love a fry up. I absolutely love a fry up.
Yeah, no one likes a fry up in a plastic box.
It's depressing.
I mean,
it's vile.
Again, at like a music festival or something, when that's the only option, and you've been eating like stale Pringles for 3 days, it's happiness.
But that's different. That's different. You can go home and make a decent fry up quickly. There's no need to, why don't you get it in a stick? If you want a breakfast, you get it in a stick. It's different,
Oh.
Yeah, like a French stick.
Why didn't you just say baguette?
Like stick.
If you want this breakfast, you can get it in a stick.
Yeah, because I call it stick.
No, that's weird. I had no idea what you meant. I thought you meant like
it's not weird.
A horrific. I thought it was like some horrific creation where you just mushed it all into a stick shape and ate it like
a breakfast kebab bar. Is what you were imagining. I take it.
I didn't think there was anything holding it together.
You think I was just going to grab it all and mush it all into like a sausage shape?
That's literally the first thought that crossed my mind. I was like, what are you talking about, a stick?
I mean, I'm quite interested in pursuing like a breakfast kebab stick now.
Just a breakfast baguette. Why kebab it? Why kebab it? No, just... Well, yeah, but how would you do that? The eggs would crumble apart. The beans would fall out. Don't even get me started on the hash browns. You'd ruin the texture.
I'm the idea guy. This is why I would employ scientists or... something else that would, be able to work out the kinks.
You're basically just you're the guy in the back of the meeting who's throwing up fucking retarded questions and answers.
Yeah. I feel like in a meeting you'd take a shit on the desk and point at it really like, look what I did.
Fucking hell, that's a bit vicious.
Do you expect anything else from me at this point of our friendship?
You're so...
I mean...
you're such a victim, Aaron.
Somebody call me wine. Call me an ambulance.
If you're going to steal my quotes, at least execute
fuck off.
them
I'm going to
correctly.
butcher them like you've done to my fucking reputation.
I said that at a wedding once and it went down badly. Well, it went down well, but not for the people that I was saying it to.
I mean...
Someone was saying... Oh, we need to stay here. I've not even said what I wanted to say yet. I wanted to do a toast. I haven't even seen the wine list. I was like, you are the fucking wine list.
Wow. Somebody was a little bit cranky that day by the sounds of it.
No, I was having a great time, actually. I was drunk. It was the root of it, to be honest. I had seen the wine list, as it happens.
Was it a good list?
It's cheap. So, yeah, good.
Jesus.
I really don't get the appeal to expensive wine.
I had a really good wine once. Red wine, yes. White wine, not so much.
I don't get it. Anything you spend over a tenner on a bottle. I really
like red,
don't
you
see
like
a
red
difference.
wine. You try.
I like red wine. I like rosé. I wouldn't really
an expensive Rioja at someone else's expense and tell me it doesn't taste better than any red you ever had in your life.
I just want it to taste like Ribena. I'm not interested in subtle hints of arsehole and timber and whatever fucking other thing it is. I just want to get fucked up.
No, red wine has a tendency to just taste like vinegar. I had the nicest bottle of red I've ever had in my life at this wedding that I was a +1 at for an ex, and this bottle of wine was like hundreds, and it was on an open bar, and it went down like velvet. Oh my God, I think about it all the time. It was such good wine.
I mean, especially an open bar with expensive bottle of wine still on the menu. Jeez.
Honest to God, it was literally just their red option, and I googled this bottle of wine because it tasted so nice. So I googled the label, like, I want to buy some of this. This is the nicest red I've ever had in my life. And then I realized why, because it was so expensive, and they didn't give me a glass. They gave me the bottle with a glass when I asked for a red wine.
I mean, they probably took a look at you and were just like, nah, she needs the bottle.
Love it.
Well, this wedding was in someone's back garden, but like their back garden was basically 20 football fields worth of land. And it was ridiculous. They had like ale kegs. It was a ridiculous wedding. This household also had 20 golden retrievers as pets.
I mean, why like do you need that many golden retrievers? Oh, I suppose it makes perfect sense retrieving all that gold across all that land.
They just kept adopting dogs every time they saw one that looked sad, apparently.
Okay.
It sounds like the perfect life. I'm not going to judge.
Well, I'm going to judge because
the dogs don't live in the same house as them.
What?
Yeah,
they have their own house.
Kind of. Imagine if sheds were the size of houses. They were just like weird wooden structures, but they definitely were buildings. And they had one house for their firewood, one house for their dogs and the people that looked after their dogs, and then they had a recording studio in another one of the houses in the back garden.
It's just mad to me how some people.
It's mad to me how I got invited to this wedding somehow.
Hold on. the question needs to be asked. Was this a +1 invite from one of these Fight Club orgies?
I mean, I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
I suppose first rule of Fight Club orgy: don't talk about Fight Club orgy.
Yeah,
You're literally breaking the first rule.
You scumbag. Yeah. No, it was this awful, not an awful ex, but anything like seedy or weird. But he was just the most insufferable person I've ever known in my life. And apparently, I didn't see that at 18 years old in a nightclub when I met him. But I had a really good day at that wedding. They had like portaloos in their back garden for the guests, but they weren't like the normal plastic portaloos. They were like a trailer with porcelain toilets in and a chandelier.
Sounds
crazy.
Sounds like a boss too.
They ain't cheap.
It was better than my bathroom at home, honestly.
Who?
Are you playing fucking games on your phone?
No.
You.
I genuinely isn't me.
I just heard a.
I heard a bit of background noise, but it genuinely wasn't me.
I heard a little bit of background noise. I don't know what it is though. Are you playing
switching phones so you can play fucking video games?
I'm not playing Resident Evil. I may be playing Assassin's Creed. But the volume was on low, so it definitely wasn't me. Otherwise, you would have definitely heard it.
I mean, we did.
I've been playing it pretty much since this podcast started.
You are an absolute scumbag. I hope you know that. I would like for you to know that you're a literal piece of human shit.
You are a piece of shit.
Oh, pay attention to the goddamn podcast, Aaron. What was your subject? Was it the Q thing?
Which Q thing? The Q thing about how they just don't give you enough time and you just feel pressured.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a pretty good one. The other one that I was also toying around with was also the how going to famous coffee shops and knowing what to order. It's just an absolute minefield.
I really struggle with the pronunciation of these fancy fucking Italian words.
Your pronunciation of some Starbucks orders.
Quarter.
What did you just call me?
Quarter. I want a cortado. So when I went out and I was like, I want a cortado, and she was like, "You mean a cortado?" And
I can I chuck some milk in that as well?
Put it on the table. There's plenty of other ones that I can't remember. That's the last one that stuck in my head. Calling it cortado.
See, now I'm two different people at coffee shops. I will either order a paragraph or I will order
the basic
a black
bitch.
Coffee. Depends the mood I'm in.
And she is definitely that one that goes, can you make sure that's with almond milk as well, please?
Look, you don't want to know what happens when I consume
Do you
dairy,
have almond
Aaron.
milk? Oh no, that severely affects my choice now. Or
I mean, if consuming a drink made you shit yourself, would you also make that
I am
affect
also
your
part of the large, partition of the population that suffers with lactose, sort of intolerance, so to speak. So yes, I fully feel your pain, but I do suffer for my art, Katie. If I want a goddamn milky coffee, I am prepared to make sure I set aside a good 20 minutes of my day to go into that bathroom and not come out.
Look, if it's a choice between a milky coffee and a large pizza, which one am I picking? I'm definitely having a black coffee that day.
I mean,
and black coffee's nice.
I'm not knocking a black coffee. Not knocking a black.
You sounded like you were.
I am partial to a black coffee myself, but I suffer for my art.
Dick.
Whoa! The anger and intolerance that I am receiving.
See, I don't know. If you're going in to get something that you want, there's nothing wrong with spending 3 or 4 minutes having a look at the menu. I mean, if you're going in there, you're going to question everything on the menu.
I think this flows quite nicely.
They should have like a speed service.
I will always do my research before I go somewhere new, so I'm not that douchebag that's sort of like,
I'm 100% in the moment. I will walk in and go with whatever I fancy.
Whilst the person behind the till
is
looking
before I walk in
soullessly at you, whilst you're just looking at the screen above their head, and you're just going,
I need to know like where we're going out to eat before I go out to eat, because I need to like download the menu PDF and spend 3 hours deciding what I want.
I mean, you
No,
say
I'll
this,
literally
Katie,
go in
but
there and
you
point at the
still
menu.
get
I'm having
there
this.
and you still question yourself.
Imagine if I didn't
It's
do the
a
research
toss-up
beforehand,
between
though,
these
as
two,
well.
and then we're still there for a good 20-odd minutes. I've been out to dinner with you.
I know exactly the situation that you're referencing as well, and I regret picking the katsu curry.
Yeah. Oh,
It was bad.
that katsu curry, that was not a katsu curry. I fully agree with you there. And that was quite a depressing choice, really.
They got some like saffron rice, whacked on some chip shop curry sauce, and put a bit of fried chicken on top of it. It was not chicken katsu curry. It was dog shit on a plate. It was awful.
Meanwhile, I was chowing down on my trio of chickens, and I was having a great time.
It sounds like you went to a Harvester. So if you're getting East Asian food from a Harvester, then I think you get exactly what you deserved.
Everything else looked worse somehow. And Joe, what? Speaking of harvesters during COVID. Now, when I get the unlimited salad bar, go for everything but the salad. So I generally get a bowl of pasta covered in bacon bits and then like 7 bread rolls. And I do that 7 or 8 times. During COVID, you weren't allowed to like get up and walk around. So you had to put your hand up basically and ask for permission to get the woman to go and get your refill on your unlimited salad. And the shame that comes along with telling a grown woman, a grown woman, 7 times to get you a large bowl of fucking child's pasta covered in bacon bits. I didn't like it. I did not have the time.
I was like, bacon my pasta.
Why
bacon my goddamn pasta, please? More.
Anyone that gets literal salad, like just salad, needs to have a word with themselves. If you're not abusing the system of the free salad bar to get your pasta, you need to.
It was probably the cleanest we've ever had a salad bar from the Harvester. That's not lie.
Very true. Very true.
The biggest issue really is, are you going to gorge yourself on free pasta and salad and then not be able to actually enjoy your food?
And suffer later.
100% agreed.
This isn't fucking amateur hour, Ben. You do it all and you do it all well.
I mean, and there's
I can't eat like I used to. I used to go to a Chinese buffet and put 8 plates away. I can't do that anymore. It hurts. But a buffet, are they going to still do buffets when all this shit goes back to normal?
COVID that seem alien now, and all-you-can-eat buffets were one of the things I thought of. Like, tell me you've not gone around an all-you-can-eat buffet and just eaten something off your plate while you're going around.
I mean, no.
Like, they are not hygienic. You've not?
No.
You've not put like 3 prawn crackers or something on the edge of your plate and gone, I'll just have one of those now.
I think you just outed yourself as another shopping trolley scumbag.
What? Why? You've never eaten something off your plate because it's just looking at you. No,
you literally can't wait 2 minutes to get back to your seat.
I need to know whether I'm getting more on that trip or not.
You're literally
eating it in
over
transit.
open bowls of food.
Near the food.
Sneeze guard is going to help you dropping crumbs out your mouth into the food.
From one food to another food.
Jeez.
It just still doesn't feel right to do it, but I'm not eating over people's food. I'm not a complete animal. But still, buffets are weird. I don't like it now.
The other thing I think it's going to be gone is candles and birthday cakes.
No. Not
yeah,
long gone.
That's long gone.
How are we just going to... See, what I don't understand about this easing of lockdown thing is how everything's going to magically go back to normality in a couple of months. It can't happen.
It won't do.
It's not how
not a chance.
Works.
But then it's the same thing of they're just going to open the floodgates like they tried to do last time and then just blame it on everyone else. You know, they're gonna push the safety aspect onto someone else, so you can't blame them when it all goes tits up.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those sort of really bad relics of the past when we walk past a all-you-can-eat buffet and see that it's shut, and we're just sort of like, I'll shed a small tear.
I will, because that's how I tried loads of random foods that I found out I liked.
Do you think people will carry on wearing their masks after they don't have to anymore?
Oh, that's another good topic. Yeah. That's really, really annoying. People who wear their masks out in the open air when they're by themselves as well.
Look, just because they're being overly cautious, Aaron. Just because you wear yours on your chin or something.
I strongly disagree with you there. I do not ever, it's even more uncomfortable to not wear the mask properly. Just, it's just.
What really makes me laugh about that is the people that are wearing their masks incorrectly are really telling on themselves 10 times more than the people that aren't wearing them at all. Like, if you're not wearing a mask at all, I'm going to assume you're exempt, and I'm not going to challenge you on that because that would make me an asshole. If you're wearing it on your chin or underneath your nose, I know at one point that you were wearing it, or at least attempting to wear it, but now you just can't be fucked. So you, sir, are ridiculous.
Agreed.
I don't know. I must just have a weird face because my mask rides up over my eyes
that
if I'm trying to wear it properly.
Camo mask.
Oh no, that's fuck you.
This one looks pretty cool. It's
I still have it somewhere,
but
I have got size ones. I didn't even look at it. I just picked it up, chucked it on
like
the conveyor belt,
and then find out later
wearing
a pair of Speedos down on Brighton Beach.
Oh, budgie smugglers.
I mean, you tried.
I still had a fucking mask on it, right? I was an absolute scumbag.
I've got about 20 different masks of varying levels of interesting design.
The thing with these masks is they don't do half as much as not even a quarter as much what people think they do.
I think the best thing about them in terms of effectiveness, not from their physical makeup, but from their presence, is that if you have a mask on your face, you're not touching your mouth and then touching things in shops.
You say that, but I've seen plenty of people who have dropped their mask, put the fingers in the mouth, and then put the mask back up.
Like bending down or like leaning over to read something on a product, and they like take off their mask so they can see better. One thing I did see someone do in a supermarket, which made me nearly piss myself laughing. Someone was trying to get one of the fresh produce bags open, so they pulled their mask down and licked their fingers, opened the bag, and put the mask back up. Like, how has society made it this far? Well, yeah.
Well, we're not wearing masks.
What do you find
obviously
interesting?
The thing is long ago, these sorts of people would die off from accidents that we now have to tell them not to do. Like, don't jump off that building, or don't put that hairdryer in the bath with you. I can't
remember what country it was in off the top of my head now. But there's a country that still has like pandemic holes in buildings. So when the bubonic plague was a thing, they built these tiny little windows into businesses so that they could still operate without having to like touch plague people. And they put them back into use for COVID, for takeaway service. It's literally just a hand-shaped hole, a hand-sized hole in the wall.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just funny how history repeats itself.
I thought you were going to say about having warnings on products like peanuts may contain nuts.
Yeah, no, literally like little COVID holes, just big enough for a hand and a little bit extra.
So, thanks for joining us at the Quarterlife Quandary. Been joined with Katie and Aaron, who keeps disappearing. Sure, we'll cut this out in some description. I don't know.